Hello, Internet. This is Daniel with Driving and Dragons, and today I want to take a minute to talk about why it is important for you as a GM to read. See you on the other side. So why is reading an important thing for a game master to do? Well, at the end of the day, the number one struggle that I see amongst game masters, especially newer and younger game masters, the thing that you see them constantly say that they have trouble with, that they want help with, one of those early things that is pretty much universal, is prose. They describing the scene, they have issues with describing the combat and that sort of thing. And what that comes from as a whole is lack of exposure and practice. Now, I think this guy is a complete hack, but there is no denying his success. Stephen King has often said that, if you don't have time to read, you don't have time nor ability to write. Because what he's saying there is that in order to be a good writer, you have to know what reads well. You have to be able to read the works of different people and have exposure to it. That is, reading and writing are actually very, very similar in terms of practice. If you think about it this way, if writing is playing golf, then reading is going to the driving range. You're still practicing the swing. You're still seeing how you need to hit the ball. Well, as a game master, you are a writer. Even if you're doing pre-made modules. Because keep in mind, pre-made modules generally say things like, the path from the town to the dungeon is X days travel, and on foot, and there are goblins nearby, and the goblins may appear, and you might see a sign of this other adventuring party. And that's all it tells you. You have to come up with the rest if your players have questions. In combat, especially if we're talking Dungeons & Dragons, but even in the more fast-paced systems like Cyberpunk, combat is slowed down and tension is reduced by the fact that we have to use dice and these other mechanics to determine what happens in a combat scenario. The only way you can maintain that tension and speed it up is through good narrative description of what happens. And no DM, none of them want to be the guy who sits there and says, okay, roll, all right, what's the AC? Okay, you take 2 hits for 2d6 damage, and the bad guy takes 1 hit for 1d8 damage. Nobody wants to be that DM. You want to be able to describe these great combat scenes. The way you can do that is by reading more. And I'm not talking about comic books and web articles. I'm talking about books. I'm talking about short novellas, short stories. You need to go out and you need to read. Not podcast, read. If you can do that, it will greatly improve your narrative prose. It also gives you a wealth of ideas if you're homebrewing your games, because the fact of the matter is that I don't have to be in genre with what I'm reading. I can be in a totally different genre and come up with ideas. We've discussed that before in my history videos and in some of my other Game Master shorts, is that you can adapt from other genres and things like that. Your players will eventually come to recognize your style as you do more and more homebrew. So having influence from other people is going to help you provide a varied and diverse range of stories for your players to enjoy. So there's just no drawback to it. If you're a game master, you need to pick up books and read to get descriptive prose, practice with descriptive prose, to see how different kinds of scenes are described, and ultimately to help provide better stories for your players at your table. If you agree with me, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. Like, share, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time.